Normally, I prefer to build smaller houses on smaller lots in The Sims, but this horse pack has me inspired to build these massive, gigantic ranches. So I was thinking that today we could try to tackle that 50 by 50 lot in the New World and try to build a big horse ranch on it. There's only a couple ginormous lots in Chestnut Ridge. There's a 50 by 50 lot that actually by default is a starter home. And there's also a 64 by 64 lot, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I built and didn't finish 3 different giant mansions on that lot when I had early access to the pack, and I still haven't gone back to finish those. I was just really excited to try and lay out big giant ranches, and I didn't really want to actually furnish those big giant ranches. But today we're gonna try to make something work on this lot, and I think that we've got plenty of space to do a lot with it. My vision is to try and include all of the cottage living stuff on this lot as well. So I'm thinking I want to put a house over here, maybe in the front corner, and then I want to split it up so we can have some sort of giant area for the cows and the chickens, and honestly the sheep and goats could live there too. And then maybe we could build a big barn, and I'd like to have some sort of pasture or like grazing area for the horses. And if the space is big enough, we could probably try and put some of the jumps and the barrel racing here too. The lot is huge, so I feel like we should be able to fit that. Oh, I also want to have a garden or like some sort of farm that I can use to grow crops to then turn into nectar. Okay, we have a long list. We have a lot of things I want to include here. I think I'd like for it to not be too expensive, and I guess it probably won't be because we're spending most of the money on the outside and not on the house itself. I feel like the main house is going to be quite small, and the priority is more so on the exterior and the animals. So with that being said, I think we've got a pretty decent plan in place. So let's just jump into the speed build. I'm sorry, was that weird? I always feel kind of weird and awkward doing these speed build intros because, to be honest with you, I already built this. I built this like 2 days ago, but I want to introduce it in a way that kind of explains the process, and so I was kind of pretending that I hadn't built it yet, but I had. Anyway, we're working on this giant lot right now, and I will tell you, the main inspiration for this lot was just the fact that I wanted to have a barn. I wanted to have a big, giant barn, and I realized there's this really nice blue wood paneling swatch in the horse pack. I know what you're thinking. I'm sorry, I had to do it. This is what I would like to call my blue suburb barn. Normally when I make houses, I kind of have this running joke about how all my Sims builds are blue. It's not my fault. I really do try to branch out, okay? It's just so many of the nicest swatches in this game are blue. And then when I saw this blue swatch for the wallpaper, I was like, you know what? I have to do it. I have to do it. Embrace the meme, make the blue suburb barn, and this is it. This is the blue suburb barn. It's not entirely blue. There's a lot of wooden accents on the inside. It also has a lot of space for horses. There's 4 horse stalls in there. I built this for a family that I was playing with on my Twitch streams, and in that household, I started off with 1 horse, and then I went and rescued a second horse, and then those 2 horses had a baby, and then my Sim found a girlfriend, and she had a horse, and all of a sudden I had 4 horses. These Sims also have a dog. They've got a cow. They have like 4 chickens. I've got a goat and a sheep. So we just have a very, very large household of a lot of animals. I'd like for them to have a kid too, but I think I'm slightly too overwhelmed right now to do that. I need to kind of like ease back into the gameplay and get myself used to caring for this many animals, and then I can have a baby. I guess I could adopt a kid instead of having a baby so it's a little bit older, but even then, having an additional Sim seems kind of stressful. I am really not a big household kind of person. I like small houses in this game. I like small households with just a few Sims. I think 6 is my limit. I don't like playing with all 8 Sims in a household. It's way too much for me. I feel like I prefer less just because it's easier to actually take care of all of them and like work on storytelling with them. When I've got 8 Sims, I struggle to actually play with all of them. I can barely take care of them, first of all, let alone like actually play with and try to like give them a storyline. And I've noticed that with horses now. As I've been playing with the horse pack a lot, I keep getting too many horses and then getting overwhelmed. I just get excited. Like I want to make one in cast, I want to adopt one, I want to have a baby, and then the household just grows and grows, and then I get stressed. But it's good to learn our limits. We have to play a bit to figure out how much is too much. And for me, I think my limit is 3 horses. I really can't have more than 3 horses. You might be noticing in the bottom corner the budget slowly going further and further down. I don't want to alarm you. This house I think ends up being like maybe around 50,000 simoleons or something. It might be more expensive expensive than that. I don't know. I started off, my Sims had like 40K, and then I just kept cheating for more and more money because I wanted to build a bigger ranch. I had previously had a starter home sized ranch, and then again, I had like a million animals, so I had to move. And I wasn't gonna cheat for money, but then I did. And I cheated for a lot of money. I'm not actually sure how much money I cheated for, but it might have been like, I don't know, 65,000 simoleons total. We'll find out at the end. So right now I'm working on that little section for the cottage living animals. So I got a cottage living barn, I got a chicken coop, and then I also made kind of like a covered outdoor stall area that I figured the goats and the sheep could live underneath. I found through gameplay that I think I don't like the goats and sheep being free roaming. And I don't mean like I dislike the feature. What I mean is I think I get stressed when I can't find them. And on a lot this big, the goats and sheep don't need to have free reign of the whole thing, okay? So I made a full fenced in area that all those animals can live in together. And that way I can lock the gate and then not lose my goats. I don't really mind if the horses go out and about and roam around because they're a little bit easier to find because they're so big. But the little tiny sheep are really easy to lose. It's been interesting playing in this house as well because I made such an effort to include the cottage living and the horse ranch stuff. I've realized through gameplay that I don't think I like cottage living as much as I thought I did. I think I just love to farm, so I'm gonna be obsessed with any sort of farming thing a person gives me. But when you compare the two of them directly, because they are quite similar in vibes and I think they have a similar target audience, I feel like horse ranch has way more to do than cottage living does. And it's got a lot of the same things, but like better versions of them, because I feel like, again, the goats and sheep are very similar to chickens, but they're not stuck to a coop. They can just go anywhere. There's also two kinds. Instead of just a chicken, there's goats and sheep. Anyway, I feel like horse ranch is really good. I've really had fun playing with it. And I will say it pairs really well with cottage living. If you have that pack already, horse ranch expands on that a lot, which I guess could be a criticism of the pack because they are, again, kind of similar vibes. Very different actual gameplay features, but kind of similar vibes. Also, this is my cat. I'm sorry, I didn't really address that she was here. She appeared and I just kept talking. This one is a real attention seeker. She likes to show up when I'm recording, and I feel like half the time I don't even realize she's there. Or I do realize she's there, but I'm just so used to her sitting on my desk like this that sometimes I don't like mention it out loud. I just keep on recording and there's ears visible and I never even said anything about it. You know what? Speaking of animals and the horse pack, my cat has been obsessed with the horse pack. She's really enjoyed watching the horses on my screen, specifically when I'm training horses on the jumps or the barrels when they're just running around in circles like that. She really likes to watch it happen. I'll put my game on triple speed and just let the horses keep practicing, and my cat just stares at it. She lays across my desk and stares at my monitor. She's funny because she doesn't care about my games or my computer that much. It's only very rarely that she expresses interest in screens. Oh, thank you. She's being so nice. But yeah, she really liked watching Finding Nemo recently. She was trying to climb up on the fireplace to get to the TV and see it. I didn't let her because it scared me, but she wanted to see the fish up close. And she's also really liked this game. Most of my games she doesn't care about. Okay, wow. She kind of likes watching me play Stardew Valley, but I think the little character moving around the screen excites her. I think she likes to watch the little character run around. So that's partially why I think she's been interested in the horses stuff. I don't know if she realizes they're animals or if she cares about that. The first time I ever noticed her care about my computer was when I was playing Planet Zoo. So maybe it is an animal thing, but when you first open the game of Planet Zoo, it like has a loading screen where an animal runs across the screen, and she saw the elephant run and she got so excited. She started staring at it and she kept watching after that. But she kind of goes through phases. She doesn't always care. It's just sometimes. She'll have like a couple weeks where she's like super into my monitors and then she kind of like gives up. I'm actually curious to hear about your cats. If any of you have cats, do they care about your screens? Because she's 15. Okay, you're tangled in my headphones. She's 15 and she didn't really care about the screens until like 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm interested in more cat data. What about your cats? Did they like horses? I've made a lot of progress on the house now. Sorry, I got distracted and stopped talking about the build. But you can see we've actually started building the main shell of the building now. I made it kind of a log cabin vibe, and it has these cute little blue shutters to match the blue suburb barn. And then on the interior of the house, downstairs there's one primary bedroom. Upstairs I kind of made into just an open stair landing hallway type of area. My plan is that eventually when these Sims have a kid, the baby can have the upstairs as their bedroom. I just don't have one yet, so for now I put like a dog bed and a piano and some stuff like that, just like skill building objects. And then one of my favorite parts is that off the kitchen, there's like a small room that I turned into a fake pantry, and that small pantry is how you access the basement where I have a huge nectar cellar. I always have a hard time figuring out where to put the basement staircases. I think this is a me being from Florida problem. problem. I've not really been in a lot of houses that have basements, so I just don't really know where to put the stairs to them. This house doesn't even have stairs. It's got a ladder into the basement. We didn't have enough space for stairs, which makes sense. The house is quite small. And now at this point, we're kind of moving back to the outside to work more on the exterior. I jumped around a lot in this build. I kind of like figured out a layout for the whole lot and then went back to the house, did the floor plan, placed a few furniture items to see the layout in there, and then came back to the outside again to do terrain paint. And watching this footage back is making me almost want to cry, because at this point, when I was landscaping, my game crashed and I had to redo a bunch of it. So that was really fun and nice. I was almost done placing all of my little grasses and rocks and plants and stuff, and then the game crashed. Luckily, there isn't really that much landscaping here because it's kind of deserty almost in this area. So I put a bunch of plants, but not as many as I maybe normally would have on like a greener looking lot. The place is all dirt, so I kind of got away with less plants, and I was kind of trying to mimic the style of the landscaping nearby out in the environment. My goal was for it to look like this house blended in with the outside area and like it actually belonged here. So I used a lot of debug landscaping and all the same plants basically. I've been having a lot of fun on these builds doing these big windy dirt paths as well. Bear with me, I know it looks kind of weird right now, but I do go through and layer in a bit more terrain paint, which makes the path look a bit better. These things always start out kind of weird and then slowly come together more once you finish them. But I've been doing a lot of that recently where I put like a big dirt path and then layer it with different colors of dirt so it looks more three-dimensional. I used to really avoid doing terrain paint stuff because I had a really hard time with it, but I think I've been getting a lot better as of recently. So if you're struggling with terrain paint, don't worry, me too. It is kind of difficult and it takes a lot of trial and error. You probably saw in this video, I like did and then deleted and redid the path multiple times to try and figure it out. I mean, I also did and then redid the landscaping multiple times, but not because I couldn't figure it out. That was more because the game crashed. I'm curious, have any of you been having more crashing issues than normal recently? Because I feel like my gallery's been having more problems than normal. I haven't had that many just random crashes like this one was, but my gallery has crashed my game 3 times this week, which the gallery is always kind of iffy, but I've been having like more issues than I used to. So I want to know if that's like me, or are you having that too? Are we all having this problem? Because I'm not happy about it. You'll notice I skipped over a little bit of landscaping, and that's because of the crash issue. So now we're post-crash. I have re-landscaped and we've moved inside the house now. I'll give you a tour of the full finished landscaping once we're done here, but inside we're kind of like halfway done furnishing. It's weird because I like furnished part of it and then stopped and then went back. So I've placed a lot of the main furniture, and now I'm just going through and adding some details like different rugs and paintings and changing colors and stuff like that. I think this is one of those houses where the floor plan just came together on its own really nicely. You know how sometimes you struggle loads to figure out floor plans and other times it just kind of like works? This is one of those times where I felt like it just kind of worked. Like I mentioned earlier, the biggest issue for me was just where the basement stairs were gonna go, and then I ended up using not stairs and a ladder instead, so that helped. I don't really use ladders in my day-to-day builds that often, but I will say putting ladders into like creepy dark nectar cellar basements has been really working for me. If there's gonna be a time to use them, this is the time. I even, in some of the basements I've been making recently, I've been putting like cracks in the walls and cobwebs and stuff. I've been making some creepy basements. I don't know what's gotten into me. I used to make like all these nice, pristine little builds, and now I'm in this phase of like wanting creepy basements. I've built every single community lot I've made recently has an absolutely disgusting, revolting bathroom. I've been putting like stains and mold in every community lot bathroom I've built for like 2 months straight. Why? Why am I doing that? It just, I don't know, something about it gives you some personality. It's nice to have some nasty things in The Sims every once in a while. Oh, and speaking of nasty, can you just imagine what this place smells like? With the amount of animals that live here, and I don't have enough time in the day to take care of them all, so it is gross. With all these cows and chickens and goats and horses. The horses have those giant piles of poop. Ugh, it probably is nasty. We are just about done with the build though. We're kind of putting some finishing touches on this bedroom downstairs. I have been loving all of the wood everywhere in these builds. I know it's quite dark inside, but I feel like it's dark in a cozy way with all these nice dark wood accents and stuff. It feels kind of like a little log cabin. And I like how this house feels like it might be a little bit older as well. That was one of the comments that I saw a lot in my Twitch chat when I was building this though. They were like, it's so dark. And I was like, I don't care, I like it. So if you think it's dark, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I still like it. Sometimes that's just what you need. Not everything has to be bright and airy. Sometimes dark and scary is better. Okay, and I have one last thing to point out. I don't know what's been going on with my game room recently, I've been having problems with my Sims not moving. And I didn't have these issues in early access, just post-pack release. I've been having some problems with Sims routing, and in particular, when I was playtesting this house, the bedroom did not work. And I couldn't figure out why. I first deleted the wardrobe thinking it was that, then I deleted the nightstands, maybe it was that, then I deleted the ceiling light because maybe it was too low. Nothing was working. I deleted everything except the bed and they still wouldn't get in the bed. But then I moved the bed to the other side of the room and it worked. So I don't know if it has to do with maybe the balcony above it or something, but like the basement's not nearby, so I can't think of a reason that the bed wasn't working. But I've had a couple weird routing issues like that where it's not my fault, it isn't the build's fault, they just wouldn't get in the bed. They just wouldn't go there. I don't know, between the crashing mid-build and then like the routing problems, this one kind of stressed me out a little bit, but I think it turned out nice. We're finished with the speed build part now, so I want to hop back into the game and show you a tour of the finished product. On the gallery, I called it the Blue Suburb Barn, again with the play on Blue Suburban. Oh, it only cost $57,000. Oh, that's not bad at all. But this is the whole finished lot. As you can see, I put a lot of grass and rocks in to try and fill up some of this empty space. I think my favorite part is this area in front of the barn. I like how we have the 2 jumps and the barrels. There's also a lot of prairie grass here, so you can use it to make money, but also for your horses to graze. When you actually come inside the barn, we've got like a feeding trough and a water trough. We've got those 4 stalls for them and like some random clutter back here. I tried not to put too much stuff in the barn because I've had some issues with the horses getting in and out of the places when they're too cluttered, so I tried to keep it a little bit minimal. There's also some water and some more grass up here in the front, and then kind of around the backyard, this path takes you all the way into the area for the other animals. This is that barn for the cows from Cottage Living. I got a chicken coop, and then I figured we could pretend the goats and sheep would sleep here. I just locked this gate so they would all stay together. We also have this little garden back here in the corner so your Sims can grow a whole bunch of grapes and make nectar. I've got a back patio with a grill and a picnic table. When you come inside the house, I put some rocking chairs on the front porch, and you walk straight into a big living room with a fireplace. I didn't put a TV anywhere here, but I haven't really found the need for one in any of these ranch builds. My Sims get their fun up so high from horses that I don't really need one. We have a quite big bathroom down here. Again, so much wood. We have like a wooden bathtub, a wooden shower, but there's plenty of space for like bathing your dog in here. We do have this big downstairs bedroom, which should work. You would think it would work. There should be no routing problems, and I don't think there is. I think my Sim was just being weird because literally I deleted everything in this room. Like I deleted everything except the bed and they still wouldn't get in. They'd walk in and then just stand there. But anyway, let me know how it works in your game. It should be fine. I don't see why it wouldn't work, but it's okay, it's okay. They've got a little tiny ensuite bathroom down here too. And then on this side, we've got a super small dining table. Don't worry, your Sims do walk past this. Again, I tested it. I oftentimes put tables in very small spaces in my builds, but you walk through there into a huge kitchen. We've got a place to feed your dog. We've got a nice big amount of counter space for cooking. I hung up some horse trophies on the wall. And then through this archway is that pantry I was talking about. So I put the trash can in there and some wine storage. And in the basement, you can access the nectar cellar, which has a ton of nectar storage and the nectar crafting item. The staircase is back here, kind of in the middle of the room, and you go upstairs and it's just one big lofted space. I put the piano and again, some dog stuff, basically. I picture in my own gameplay, I'll use it for a bedroom. I just don't need it yet, so I'm using it for a dog room, essentially. And outside, there's also a telescope in case you want to kill your Sims. And that, my friends, is the entire build complete. It's winter right now in this save, so the vibes are kind of off, but these are the Sims that I've been playing with. I did sell one of those 4 horses because I was too stressed, but I sold my girlfriend's horse, so I barely knew the horse. I wasn't attached, it's okay. But anyway, I wanted to show you this place kind of more in action. If the cow would come out, I could show you. But it's cute, they all live together, they're kind of all friends. My horses spend a lot of time in this area with the other animals, which I kind of like. Oh no, I didn't clean up before showing you. There's horse poop in my barn. Oh, there's a lot of horse poop in my barn. Okay. Well, anyway, that is the finished product. So if you want to download it, I have it on my gallery page. Oh, wait, one more thing. I've got a cow plant on the sign, but there we go. Now that's the finished product. Hopefully you enjoyed this build. And if you want to see stuff like this, I've been playing with these Sims and I built this live over on my Twitch channel. Speed builds are fun, but I think there's something kind of special about live building with chat because we can get live feedback. You can live tell me, no, Kayla, I hate that. And I'll be like, too bad, I'm gonna keep it anyway. Or you could give me good ideas. Like the Blue Suburb Barn was actually an idea from chat. It wasn't even my idea. It was a suggestion and I took it and I ran with it. But anyway, thank you again for watching. My cat is still here. She's just staring at the screen like I told you earlier. She says bye too, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. This is some of the most fun that I've had building with like any pack. I don't know what it is. I love making these horse ranches. They're so cool.